Okay, so this is let an 80-point B inverse variation as a ratio. It's just like the direct variation, only with a slight twist. So what you are used to is if A varies inversely as B, we would say A equals K over B. That's what we're used to doing. So for example, if blues vary inversely as yellows squared, blues vary inversely as yellows squared, and it says 100 blues go with 2 yellows. How many blues with 10 yellows? Okay, so the way that we're used to solving a problem like this, blues vary inversely as yellows squared, we would say B equals K over Y squared. Then we'll find our scale factor and go from there. So it says 100 blues go with 2 yellows. So we would do 100 equals K over 4. So K equals 400. Then it says how many blues go with 10 yellows. So we would say B equals 400 over 10 squared. So B equals 400 over 100. So B equals 4. So we would say 4 blues go with 10 yellows. Now, let's solve the same problem and do it the new way. So our new way, if you remember with direct variation, it was A1 to A2 is equal to B1 to B2. For inverse variation, the first part stays the same. A1 is to A2 as, and then now because it's inverse, you flip it. B2 is to B1. So A1 is to A2 as B2 is to B1. Now this problem throws in another loop where it throws in the squared, so you just have to throw in that squared into that problem. So we'll let our A's be blues and our B's be yellows. And it says blues vary inversely as yellows squared. So we'll have to say A1 over A2 equals B2 squared over B1 squared. Okay, so now let's just fill in the information. It says 100 blues go with 2 yellows, so 100 blues, and again this is initial, so when we put our 2 in, the 2 is going to go on the bottom because that's our initial, which is number 1, our initial blue is 2, so we'll say 2 squared. And then it says how many blues go with 10 yellows. So we'll do 10 squared over here. Okay, so from here we'll say 100 over A sub 2 equals 100 over 4. This one's really easy. All you have to do is look at it. So we know A sub 2 equals 4, and our answer is 4. So there are 4 blues. Okay, let's do a practice problem. It says use the equal ratio method to work each problem. So we'll do practice A. It says cost varies inversely as number produced. Okay, so it's an inverse one. We'll use C and N for our two variables. So we know C1 is to C2 as N2 is to N1 because they're inverse, they're flipped. Okay, so let's go back to the problem. It says cost varies inversely as the number purchased. Purchased, not produced. If 15 can be purchased for $225, those are our initial values, so $225, and you can buy 15 with it. Notice I'm putting it where the ones are. It says how much would 42 cost. So 42 is a number, so 42 is the second number, and we want to know the cost. So from here, you have a couple of options. You can reduce, then cross multiply, or you can just cross multiply. I'm in favor of reducing first just because it's easier for me. So I noticed that 3 goes into both of these. 3 goes into 15 5 times. 3 goes into 42 14 times. So now I'll just do 225 times 5 and 14 times C sub 2. So 14 C sub 2 equals 225 times 5. So 14 C sub 2 is 1125. So C sub 2 is 1125 divided by 14. Let's see. Oh, and I don't have anything to cheat with, so I'm going to have to actually work it out. Let's see. 8. 4 times 8. Alright, I'm using my calculator just because I see that it's going to be a decimal. Okay, so it's 80.4. So C sub 2 is 80.4. So it's asking for purchase. Cost varies inversely as the number purchased. If 15 can be purchased for $225, 42 would cost 80 point, well actually let's turn this into money, 80.36. So the more you buy, the less it costs, which does not make sense at all. Cost varies inversely as the number purchased. Okay, so that's the answer, 80.36. Do me a favor, double check that in the answer key, see if that's right. If it's wrong, email me and let me know, because I don't have the answer key with me. Let's do problem B. Blues vary inversely as yellows squared. Blues vary inversely as yellows squared. Okay, so in this one we'll say blue 1 is to blue 2 as yellow 2 is to yellow 1, but yellows are squared. Okay, it's inversely, so we flip it. It says 100 blues go with 3 yellows. 100 blues go with 3 yellows. And how many blues go with 10 yellows? Okay, so this is another one of those easy ones. So we have 100 is to B sub 2 as 100 is to 9. So B sub 2 is obviously 9. So there would be 9 blues. Alright, so again, double check this answer for me just to make sure. Email me whether it's right or wrong. And hopefully this makes sense. Thanks.